Okay, y'all. So thank you for tuning in tonight for our basically just like Q&A session with your directors. So where this all came from was I sent out a Google form to our leaders, and I asked them a couple questions, and then I wanted to hear from them. What was it that they wanted to ask? And we did it anonymously so that people could, sometimes when you go to meetings or whatever, you don't want to ask questions because you feel like someone's going to judge you, or you just are one of those that you're like thinking the question, but you don't want to say it out loud. So that's kind of where that came from. I want to open up the meeting tonight with sharing with you guys this. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I felt like some of these were really, really good. These are just some quotes. Another superstar director asked some home office people and some other leaders in Scentsy what success looked like for them. And I felt like some of these were really, really good. Customer follow-up, thank them for every order, and regularly check in to see if they want to order more. Treat it like your own business and not a hobby. If you want to be successful, you have to treat it like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby. And that is okay if you just want to do this as a hobby. But if you want to do this,
you have to walk down that long hall to go to the old part. You got to go upstairs. Then you have to.
I cannot see.
Do you think Braden should get out?
No.
So sorry, guys.
I'm talking to you, Dad.
I'm asking you. Do you think Braden should get out? He's the one mean.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Oh gosh, and then me clicking was making that go away. So Scentsy leaders were sharing things from success. You should always be looking for potential team members. Be brave and ask all the people. Don't wait for people to come to you. Sponsor at least one new person every month. I have always lived by the 2 by 2 by 2 rule, where I say 2,000 PRV, 2 new teamies for 2 years, and you can build life-changing income. This is one of my favorite quotes, and it's always strive to be the hardest working person in the room, and to find one thing to celebrate every single day, even if it's just as simple as getting out of bed, because we all know that that can be something that's really hard too. Something that stood out here was always continue learning and never try to be the smartest person in the group. So I always say that I want to be the dumbest person in the room, because I want to surround myself with people that force me to level up. And I don't ever want to get complacent with where I am. And something that I have really, really tried hard to do is make sure that I am like teaching myself or learning something new every single day. All right. So I just wanted to open that up with some success quotes. And I am going to let the amazing Bailey take it off. And she is going to go over the topics that she chose to talk about. And then we can kind of, Anna, I'll let you take the buddy drive after Bailey. And then we can follow up from there. So Bailey, I am going to spotlight you, and you are ready to go, girlfriend.
All right. Well, on my end, it looks very fuzzy, so I hope you guys can see me okay and hear me okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about some questions that a couple of leaders asked. One being getting your kids involved. If anybody follows me on social media, you know that I'm really big on posting about my kids helping me with my Scentsy business. One thing that I want to say is, when your kids see this as a business and not just as something mom does, then they brag about it when they're out in public. And that's something that you need to happen. You want them, if you're like me and you have a hard time starting conversations, my 6-year-old, on the other hand, not so much. He'll say anything that comes to his mind. So him knowing that mom's job is to be a Scentsy consultant is the best thing that I could do for my business. Another thing is they love helping me package orders. They love helping me label the bars. And look, y'all, just be real with your customers. Let them know that it's a family business, that they help you. If the label's jacked up and it's on crooked, it's because your kids did it. And that's going to be something that's going to reach out to other moms out there. For me, I'm a stay-at-home mom, right? And right now, I am homeschooling my kid because of COVID. So he's here 24/7. He's got to help me with my business or I can't get anything done. Okay. So he is really big on helping me label stuff. They love smelling the new scents. They love going live. That's really what's pushed me to go live more, is because he loves to do it. He thinks it's hilarious. And let me tell y'all, people are going to react better to your kids than they are you any day of the week. I still remember when my Darth Vader warmer got here, my 2-year-old broke the lid on a live. And for like a week, people were messaging me and they were like, how did you not cuss on that live? And I was like, I really don't know. I don't know what I said, and I'm sorry if I did. And they remembered that, and it stuck with them, and they still talk about that. People will still tell me, I remember when your 2-year-old broke that warmer on your live, and you were like, oh, what do I do? So they're going to remember that. They're going to remember it better than you just sitting here talking to them. The kids, especially mine, crack them up. They love it. So if you have kids, yeah, I encourage you, get your kids involved. Like I said, if they see this as a real job, then they're going to brag about it when they're out with people. So show them it's a real job. Show them that you're not playing around. This is not a hobby. This is not a typical person's idea of a direct selling company. This is a job. This is what you do for a living. The next question that I wanted to hit on was talking about mail outs. So somebody asked how you're putting mail outs out consistently. And one of the things that I had to change for me and for my business was doing one time a month. Okay. And I have to say, if you can do it weekly or more than once a week, that's great. But if you can't, don't stress about it. I do all of my mail outs the very first day of the month. Okay. So basically how I have it set up is I take the last week of the month to prep what I'm going to mail. I'll bulk sample. I create a monthly newsletter now for my customers. And I'm going to share a Google Drive that has all of this in it so you guys can see it. But basically my monthly newsletter is just telling them what wax samples I'm featuring for the month. Like this particular one is November themed, so it talks about the holidays are coming, be ready to clean up afterwards with our amazing cleaning line, and it features that. So they're going to get cleaning samples. And then it talks about shopping for the holidays and earning rewards by hosting your own party, obviously, from shopping for your people. So I just create this. I'll create this the last week of the month. This is going to go to everybody. And then I bulk sample from there. I am going to share, I'm actually going to do a training sometime this month about my packaging, my mail out. That's going to have a breakdown for you guys of how I do it by how much they spend. So it keeps me on a budget, so I'm not overwhelming myself and them, but also how I'm determining what I'm going to sample out. And then I get it done. And then the very first day of the month, I go back and look at all of my people that ordered in October, and I'll send them all a mail out. And that's how I stay consistent with it, because I can't guarantee that I can do it once a week. And for most of us, if you plan and then you fail, it's worse. It's bad. Okay. So if you plan to do it every week and then you fail at that, then you're going to tear yourself down, and you don't want to do that. Do what works for you. Don't, Chassie just said, do what works for you. Don't feel like just because everybody's doing it on their time frame, you have to remember we're all different. Yes, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but my version of homeschooling right now is not like some of the other counties where the kids are on a computer. He literally has paperwork he has to do all day long. So stop comparing and trying to be like everybody else and do what works for you. Now, the other question that was asked was what you include in your packaging and your mail out. So I'm going to show you guys. I keep it simple and generic, and I do it the same thing in every single order. So you know you're going to get your newsletter and all the mail outs. I'm always going to include the 10 reasons why. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but I'm going to upload all these files. Chastity shared this same file. It just goes over the 10 reasons why to join. And then with that, I don't have my other piece of paper here. I also do a Scentsy Club. I actually just created this today. So my Scentsy Club, I kind of use it as if it's like an exclusive club that you want to be a part of. So I created this to look like a ticket, like if you were going to go to a movie or to a show or to something like this. Okay, so that's in there. Oh, this is what I have too, that I clipped to the join information. So it's made to look like a little check, right? And so I have one that says your pay from this order. So for example, if they spent $100, they're going to get $25 back if they were a consultant. Then I have one that down on the for line, it says your pay from this party. So if they hosted a party, this is the check that they're going to get. So if they did a $1,000 party, they're going to get $250 back. A lot of people, believe it or not, are numbers people. They want to see numbers. And this, if I was to see, hey, wait a minute, I could get $250 back off of this party, that's going to hit home a lot more for me than just, hey, do you want to join my team? Okay. So I attach this to every order of $50 or more. I also include a whiff box flyer. This, I've changed all of my QR codes to now it takes them to my link tree, so I don't even have to play around with creating, the whiff box QR code or any of that stuff. It takes them all to my link tree, and then my link tree has sign up for whiff box, sign up for Scentsy Club, shop my site, all that kind of stuff on it. Another thing that I'm doing right now is I am including a bingo card in every single one of my mail outs, because I am now doing once a month VIP bingo. This is just a little treat for my people that shop with me on a regular basis. So I actually have new cards that I just ordered. They won't be here till tomorrow, but I'm going to clip it to it, and it's going to talk about how they're a VIP. They now get exclusive samples and things like that, and it's going to be clipped to the bingo card. And then once a month in my VIP page on Facebook, we're going to do a bingo night. Obviously, they don't have to pay anything. They're not going to pay anything to be in it. This is just an appreciation thing for them. So that's basically what I include in everything that goes out of my house. Always include join information. Always include information about Scentsy Club. I have shared before, like as an example, if this is a bar that's getting ready to go out, put a label on the inside that reminds them that this is an exclusive scent for the season, and get it in their Scentsy Club. Put that on every bar that goes out of your house. Those are the things that I'm focusing on. I've seen a big difference in people signing up for Scentsy Club since I've started doing that. So make sure that you are sharing that with everybody. And yes, always, always share the join opportunity with everybody. I don't care if somebody purchases this month and they get all this, and they purchase next month and they get all this. It does not cost me that much. I print these. So what I do, I think somebody asked what app I use. I strictly use Canva now, because Canva saves your color palette, which is great if you're trying to build your brand, even on the free version. So basically, like this, I created this, the 10 reasons why to join. I created this as an infographic, and then I save it as an image, and then I upload it to like I think it's called a US letter document in Canva. I print 3 of these per page. I printed 4 of these per page, and I printed 6 of these checks per page. So they'll get the same thing over and over and over again. I don't care how many times, if they order 18 times in a row, they're going to get these papers 18 times in a row. because they're eventually going to go, okay, wait a minute, what is this? Like, I need to pay attention to this. The other thing is, I'm really adamant about, let me get mine. I don't like to just stick my paper in my bag because I feel like they're just kind of like grab it out. So I do little sample packets like this. So based upon how much they spend is how much they will get in samples, and there's scent circles in here. But then all of this paperwork is also in here. So they're going to see it because they're going to have to get to their samples that are in here. So I encourage you to do something like that. It doesn't have to be all fancy or anything, but package it all together so it's not just dropped down in the bag, so that they actually pay attention to it. I think that's pretty much all I had. I'm going to create some generics of these forms too and get them uploaded to the director's page so they can share it with all of you guys. I think that's pretty much all I had, unless anybody's got any questions. I think I answered all of them.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, please drop them in the chat box as we go. And I know people will definitely answer them. I love everything that Bailey said, especially like people stress a lot over, well, I just sent them with box information last month. Do I really need to send it again? How many times do you open something and you don't really see it, or you don't really pay it attention?
And I'm going to be honest, I have a customer that I have openly talked to about the whiff box. I have given her whiff box information every time she's ordered. And the only time that she finally signed up for a whiff box, and it was because I went live on Instagram opening my whiff box. So if you are not getting a whiff box, get a whiff box and open it on whatever social media platform you're on, because it's going to make all the difference. They don't want to see a picture. They want to know you believe in the whiff box enough to buy it for yourself. And sure enough, she signed up. She gets it every month now. So it's not just about the paperwork that's going in there, but yes, give it to every single person every single time.
Perfect. Anybody else have any other questions? And if you are like looking at Bailey's images and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, your girl can't do it either. And it's okay. Like, you don't have to be Bailey. You need to be you. Because if you try to be Bailey, you're going to stress yourself out and never feel good enough. So you need to.
I'm sorry. It's not just that. It's people are going to know when you're not being you.
Right. 100%.
People know I'm bougie AF, y'all, like with my graphics and stuff, because I can sit down and like Chastity knows, she'll message me and she'll be like, I'm thinking about creating something, and it's just something that happens naturally for me, and I'll have it done in 5 minutes and send it back to her.
I'm literally like,
so don't stress about
have that made. It'll be like 5 minutes. I'm like, that's exactly what was in my head, but it would have taken me 3 days to do that.
And I don't mind helping if you guys need pointers. Don't stress about it. The biggest thing that I can tell you is get in there and play with the app when you're not even trying to create something. And that's really the best thing that you can do, is just to play with it. That's how I learned everything that I do in there now. But I did figure out today a way that I can create templates that I can share with you guys so that you can copy and paste it into Canva and then change the colors and add images without changing my stuff. So when I create the generics of these, that's how I'm going to do it. So you can just copy and paste it and make it look like you want, but using the same template.
Yep. And also, guys, like, don't feel like you have to go and recreate the wheel. Those flyers groups and like the templates that I post and other people post, like, it is 110% fine for you to add your contact information on there and use those. Don't feel like you have to go and create everything, because if you're going to spend all of your time creating, you're never going to make any money. You're never going to actually do the things that matter. So don't get so caught up in that. The most important thing is that you're at least just getting the information out there. If you can't print things at home, buy the brochures from Scentsy. Print out the brochures, send it to Staples. I don't care what you do, but you need to be educating your customers every single month, because if you're not educating them, somebody else is going to. If you're not telling them about Scentsy Club, somebody else will. And guys, like, that's not our fault if a customer comes to us to ask us to order something because you didn't share it because you were waiting for the perfect time, or you were waiting for the perfect join flyer, or you were waiting for the perfect whiff box picture. If you don't get the whiff box every month because you just joined, here's a pro tip, guys. Save a whiff box. I have one right here. Pretend you got it. I'm going to encourage you to get it every month, period. But I save a whiff box and I can go take selfies wherever the hell I want to because I still got this whiff box. They don't know what's inside of it, but they'll remember if I'm posting the same selfie with the same clothes and stuff. But you can keep a whiff box and pretend. If you don't have all of the other products, pretend until you can host a party and get it for yourself for free or half off. But go ahead, Bailey.
By the way, a little tip on the whiff box too, if you do get the whiff box and you are sampling the things out of the whiff box, like I know most of us don't even use the stuff in it, they sample it. On your label, when you label it, put that it came in such and such month's whiff box, because that grabbed somebody's attention here recently. They were like, oh, wait, you get washer whiff samples in a whiff box? Okay, yeah, I need to sign up for one of those. So make sure when you're sampling that stuff out, let them know it came in October's whiff box. Here's a free bar. It came in October's whiff box. And they'll start realizing, oh, you do actually get good product in the whiff box.
For sure. And I think the only other thing I want to add on before I let Anna talk about the buddy drive is just like most of us on here are leaders, right? And you will say, or we're moms, or you have friends or whatever, and you have to like tell them something more than once. I mean, if your husband listens the very first time you say something, you don't ever have to repeat yourself. I need to know the trick besides like being naked. Sorry, but that's like, I'm just ratchet. That's just who I am. But, and my kids, they don't listen till I like scream like Ursula. So your customers, just because you've posted something 5 times or went live about it, that doesn't mean that they were actually paying attention. How many times are we aimlessly scrolling through Instagram, through Facebook, not paying attention? Or you posted a different way, or you went live, or they could have been taking a social media break. So the more and more that you educate your people, the better it's going to be. I put Scentsy Club in every single person's mail out for the last 6 months, and I still have customers, good customers, ask me what Scentsy Club is. And I know that they've had a Scentsy Club flyer in their mail out every single time they order something. I know they have, because I have 4 different Scentsy card postcards because I rotate some of my stuff out, and I know that it's been in there. So just because you've said something once, it doesn't mean that everybody understands and everybody knows it. Like, you've got to continuously be doing that the same way you do with your team. So thank you so much for that, Bailey. I loved all of those tips. Definitely just share with us in the director page the things that you come up with.
I will.
And if anybody else has any other questions for her, feel free, or for anybody else, you can post those in the chat. And I am going to let Anna talk about the buddy drive. Now, real quick, before I give it to Anna, you guys have the opportunity and the freedom to do what you want to do. You don't have to do a buddy drive. You don't have to partner with Anna. You have to do it correctly, and you have to ask the people that you are trying to do the drive with for permission and stay in compliance and things like that. Anna is our contact for the Levine Children's Hospital. You guys know that Chloe and Justin are going to be releasing some information about a fundraiser that they're doing. You do what sticks with you, what you want to do. Just do it right and educate yourself. Don't just start saying you're doing a fundraiser for somebody that has no idea, because that's not okay. But anyway, I'm gonna let Anna take the lead, and I am going to spotlight her. And
all right. So the main question that was asked was, when trying to organize a buddy drive, is it really as simple as a basic agreement with the hospital, collect the money, and deliver? Yes, for the most part. Don't overthink it. This is my 3rd year doing some type of buddy drive, the 2nd year for Levine Children's Hospital. And right here, I have pulled up in front of me, and you can go do it. It's from the workstation. It is the Scentsy standards, and Chastity kind of hit on it. Like I said, don't overthink this. When you're doing a fundraiser, you need to, number one, obtain approval from the individual or entity that you want to raise funds for or donations from. So like with Levine, and the first year I did it in 2018, I did Falcons Children's Home. So you need to make contact with the place and get approval. And even with like Levine, they have to approve the flyer that their logo is on. So you can't just go and make whatever and share whatever. Then let's see, follow through on all promises and agreements made with that entity for which you are raising the funds. You need to be able to provide documentation to Scentsy upon request showing the terms that you agreed upon. So I have all emails that I've saved. I keep track of who bought what, who has donated, etc. And the main thing that I had to get clarification on after we had some compliance issues with the pay to play and all that stuff earlier this year, you cannot just collect a donation from someone. With the buddy drive or anything like that, you have to make sure that the money that they're giving you is going to purchase a buddy or whatever product it is. They can't just say, here's $20 cash or whatever, just donate it. It has to be for a product that you're going to purchase. That is the main thing in getting approval. So that answers that question. So it really is kind of simple. You just have to obey Scentsy standards and the entity or the individual that you're doing this for. Now with Levine, Chastity wanted to jump in on this. Bailey has already jumped in. I have several directors who want to help. This is my 2nd year doing it, and I'm very passionate about this. And I found my contact, like I said, last year, and I got approval, reached out to them earlier this year. So I want to make sure earlier on in the year, because of COVID, to make sure they wanted to get them. So any of you guys who want to jump in on that, you can. Super simple. This is how I do it. And my husband makes the flyer. We can share the flyer, and it has the Atrium logo, Levine's Children's Hospital logo on there, along with Scentsy. And our goal is 250 because they have 250 beds, including infants and toddlers. We do all the buddies, blankie buddies, everything but the buddy clips, because that's not big enough. We do the sidekicks as well, and the friend. So, and then we keep them in the boxes. We don't take out the scent packs or put them in there. And everybody more this year is either collecting them or mailing them to me or having them shipped directly to me, kind of to keep the less hands on them. Like Bailey is way closer to Charlotte for delivery, so she'll just meet us there. But anybody who wants to jump in on this, let me know. And we do go and deliver them, but we don't get to take them to the kids. We just meet in the lobby and unload everything, and they take care of it from there. But if anybody has any specific questions about that, I'll answer that. That's kind of just a quick run through. Anybody have any other questions on the buddy drive?
And y'all you can unmute yourself if you want to, if you have a question about it, because Anna is like our contact person for that. And Anna, if you just want to put your email, that way you are not bombarded with, or however you want to be communicated with. That way, if anybody has specific questions, you can contact Anna that way. Because when you ask me if it's something specific to that one, I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to ask Anna.
We'll throw in one more thing in that, because I forgot and it left my mind. One thing that I feel I have to be super comfortable with, be able to sleep at night when it comes to, because if I can put in $500,000 order with all buddies. I have rewards, right? I do not feel comfortable, me personal, getting a bunch of Scentsy stuff for myself. It is all buddies. Even all the half-offs, if it comes out of my pocket, it's all buddies. 100%, I do not get anything from me because I would not feel right. So that's all I ask is if you do participate in this, you do the same thing. If I got to send you I don't know, $15 to go half in on a buddy, I will, but
Nobody is sending anybody
yeah.
money. That's like what you're asking. That's what we're doing.
right.
And I mean, I think that it's for the right reasons and for the right calls. And we shouldn't be like shopping our stock because we got buddy money. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, and you know, that's our
Yeah.
mantra. You know, we're going to be the light. We're going to let our light shine, and we are going to bless this dang hospital with more buddies than
My
we've
goal
ever
last
seen.
year was to take a U-Haul, and I think we're gonna do it this year. We're gonna need more than one.
Oh, we doing it, girl. We doing it. We doing it. So the one that said anyone on our team you can ship to me and I'll deliver, that was Bailey. However, if you are local here to me in Fayetteville, I am most likely going to be doing the same thing, and I'll just like meet up with Anna and them there. So if you're in Fayetteville, you can get those to me and I will coordinate all of that. Even if I'm not, even if I don't end up being able to go that day, you can get them to me and I will get them to Anna in time to be delivered. So I will also, y'all know my email. Y'all can click SSD in your workstation if you want to contact me about delivering any of those. Andrea, yes. Email either me or Anna. That way she's not posting her stuff out there for everybody. And yeah, so don't feel like you have to do this one. You do what speaks to you. Okay. And that's the amazing thing about this business, is that we are so blessed to have the vessel to be able to fundraise for anything that we want to. Anywhere that is willing to take money, anywhere, anybody who wants to raise funds, we have that ability. So don't limit yourself. Okay. Does anybody have, but also one thing I want to add to what Anna said, do not, if you're using that flyer, don't alter it. If you're going to create something different, it doesn't need to have their logo and all of that stuff on it, because if it has their logo, that's when people get upset. Same thing with like the Scentsy logo. You know, there's certain rules. That hospital has certain rules with their logos and things like that. So, okay. Does anybody have any other questions about that? No? Okay, so I am just going to, I'm gonna just say some of the other questions and then see if any of my directors just kind of want to talk about it, and then I can close us out. So something that I see a lot, or a question that I'm seeing a lot, is about getting your frontline motivated and or active. Does anybody want to chat on that? I will, but if anybody else wants to chat on it or give their perspective.
I'll say a little bit while I'm on a roll. Might as well.
Go for it, girlfriend.
I mean, that is one thing I know Chastity's had me try to get more active frontline. It might have been pretty high in 2020 so far. And the main thing is, I like to show them how I'm working. You hear it from, I mean, Chastity tells us, show them, and I have a note right here as proof. Show them how you're working. It's right here on my desktop. So, and just making sure you're doing what you're asking your team to do. I mean, show them that you're trying, whether, I mean, you fail or whatever, just show them how you're working, and it's going to, you know, be there. I contact my frontline. I try to reach out to them weekly. Some of them I talk to daily, but just be there in the group. I don't even care if your team page doesn't have any type of interaction whatsoever. They're watching, they're reading. So I would just say, just show them how you're working, check in with them, encourage them, and just be their cheerleader. So
Anybody else want to add anything to that before I say my piece? I think you guys can unmute yourselves.
One thing that I will have to say about motivating frontline is that, like, I just constantly remind myself that I can't make somebody work And if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. If they're not going to do it, they're not. And all I can do is just really stay consistent and show them that I'm working and give them the tools to help them. And however they take that to be successful, at the end of the day, I can't dwell on that. So if I have 20 frontline and only 2 of them are working, I'm going to find 20 more frontline. So don't harp on the ones that you have that aren't doing anything. Continue to find more frontline. And I will say, just because somebody sits at your front line and doesn't do anything for 2 years doesn't mean that they won't just like have a light bulb come on and immediately just take off. So that's like the one thing that I'd say about that is, you know, just because somebody's working right now doesn't mean that they won't work in a year or two. And find new people. Don't harp on the ones that aren't working.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Any of my other people want to say anything? Because you know I got something to say. All right. So what I am going to say is a couple things. If your team isn't working the way that you want them to work, go find a new team. Stop worrying about the people that are sitting there not doing anything. If you don't have 500 PRV in right now, it is the 26th. We have had 7,000 releases. That is a choice. Buy. And that's all I have to say about that. Because if there is somebody that is not active, they are not working, and they are saying that they can't get sales, they're not freaking trying, period. They are not talking to people. If your mouth is closed, your business is closed. And if everybody on your team is freaking crickets, you need to go find a new team. Stop trying to pull dead weight along with you. There's no point. There's no point. I know personally that there are a few women on this call right now that are real headstrong. And when someone tells them what to do, they're going to do the opposite just to spite them. That's me. Tell me not to jump. I'm going to jump 3 times higher than I thought I was going to because I want to do it in spite of you. And sometimes people on your teams may think that you just want them to work so that you can make money off of them or whatever, even though they may think that just in their head. The devil may have gotten into it, so they're not going to work because of that. Or they're going to say that their kids are at home and they're homeschooling, so they can't work. So instead of using their kids as a reason, they're going to use it as an excuse. And at the end of the day, exactly what Blair said, people's circumstances change every single minute. And you don't know when a light bulb is going to flip off, when something tragic is going to happen in someone's life, and they're going to have a deeper reason why. And they're going to say, okay, I want more from this business. There are so many directors, star directors, superstar directors that sat at certified for years. And if their upline had given up on them or pressured them to try and get active every single month when they only wanted to join to spend 200 every 3 months back then, they wouldn't be a superstar director right now. So you can't want it enough for the people who aren't doing it. Number 1. Next thing is, I want you to ask yourself, are you motivated? Are you showing up consistently daily? Are you doing all of the things to build your business consistently? Ask yourself if you're doing that, first of all. Then ask yourself, does your team know you're doing that? Or are you doing that in silence? Are you posting it on your director's team page? Because I don't see a lot. And I'm just going to be honest. There's the same, and I'm on all of these people's team pages. It is the same people posting over and over and over how they're working. That's not okay, because your team is watching that. If you're not a director and you're on this call right now, I hope you're looking to see if your director's on. And I mean, I'm just going to say that because we're doing this call for you guys. And I'm not saying that like people can't have things going on, because I totally get that. But if you're showing up, you need to lock arms with somebody else who's showing up, because those are the people that are going to bring you through and get you where you need to be. And so, are you motivated? Are you doing the things Does your team know? And I don't just mean like posting on your team page once a week. Are you showing up on your social media? Are you showing up for your team? Are you talking to your team members besides just when it's the end of the month and you need to know if you're going to get an active frontline to get paid at title? You need to show them, okay? And then the other thing I need to ask you is, how long have you been doing it? Because guys, consistency is the most important part of anything in this business, because every single director that's on this call right now has been through ups and has been through real far lows. The difference is that we decided to put our big girl panties on and pull ourselves out of the dip, because every single one of us have went through the dip. And you can either choose to stay there or you can rise out of it. But the difference is consistency. You have to show up even when you don't freaking feel like it. Even when you have craziness going on and you've locked everybody out of your office, you have to show up, because momentum is everything. And if you decide to just take time off or let a temporary feeling affect your 5-year dreams, it is astronomically hard to pull yourself out of it. So hard. And I can say it from experience. I've went through numerous dips, and I didn't have people to tell Chastity to get her shit together back then. And an accountability partner and somebody who I can trust telling me I need to get it together, that is everything. That is everything. So, and something I prayed for, and I never thought I would actually have it in Scentsy, but I prayed for God to send me people that were my people in this business, because we all know that you don't have to vibe with everybody. I don't expect you to vibe with everybody, but you need to find the people that you do vibe with and run with them. Because if you don't, honestly, eventually you'll quit, because leadership is lonely. Nobody tells you that. Nobody tells you that it's lonely at the top when you don't have anybody to talk to. Nobody tells you that it's lonely when none of your friends outside of Scentsy have any other goals besides living in Grace Creek for the rest of their life. Nobody tells you that. They just tell you it's life. No, it doesn't have to be life. You get to create the life that you want. You get to create that, and you have the power to change your situation. Only you. And that's the same thing that goes for your team members. We have to cheer for them and cheer for them and cheer for them and cheer for them before we can coach them. And that's something that I heard Laura Godwin say, and I'm going to continue to say it. You have to cheer before you can coach, because your team needs to know that you care about them as a person before you care about coaching them. So you have got to continue to recognize the behaviors that you want repeated. You have got to continue to build a relationship with them. But if nobody on your team is motivated and they're not doing anything, and you're doing the things, and you're not a director, if you're a director, come to me and ask me. If you're not a director, I want you to go to your director and ask your director, does it seem like I'm doing the things? Ask them. And they're going to give you a real answer, because I can say that a lot of people that say that they're doing the work, I don't know that. And I can see people's numbers. So I know whether you're doing the work or not. I can see whether or not you're showing up on social media. I can see whether or not you're tuning in and watching the trainings. I can see that half the people that say that they're going to watch a recording don't watch it, because I know how many views there are on YouTube. So you can't want it bad enough for anybody. And I want this for everybody, but I cannot pull everybody with me. I can't drag you. I can reach down and pull you up. I can give you the resources. Same thing with all of your directors, but we can't do the work for you. It's so important for you guys to realize that you have to continue to grow your frontline and sponsor if you want to do well in this business, because even people that are a rock star when they first join, they may have something tragic happen in their life. They may go through the dip for 6 months. And you're like, where'd they go? They were going to promote me to director. No, honey, you can't just focus in on one person. The more people that you bring with you, the better off your business is going to be. And as much as I want everybody that has so much potential to rise to that potential, how many of you guys have siblings or aunts and uncles that people say he had so much potential, but he just couldn't get it together or whatever? You can guide them and you can show them, but you can't make them work. So you don't want to cut them off, but you also don't want to continue to focus on something that is just not going to give any energy back to you. So I hope that that kind of answered that. I'm super passionate about it because it's just, you can't just sit there and wait for somebody to work, or you're going to be waiting forever. So, how to get team engagement, that sort of goes along with the same thing. Asking, does anybody want to talk about that, like team engagement on team page? I talked with, I think, my directors. I don't know if I talked with everybody about this. Anybody? If not, I'll say something.
Did I talk over somebody? I'm
No,
sorry if I did. Okay. So as far as like team engagement, I have noticed, and I don't know, some of y'all may know that like I adjusted how I was doing my team page at the beginning of the year, and it like changed it completely. And I have a tremendous amount of team engagement now, as to where before I didn't. But the one thing I'll say is I may post something and it'll get 10 comments. People will tag their downline, people will like it. And then I might post something asking people to comment and I'll get 1 comment on it. But at the end of the day, I just remind myself that it doesn't matter if it gets 1 like versus 50 likes. Sometimes people will see something and they won't like it, or they'll comment, but they'll see it. And at least I am holding myself consistent and I'm staying consistent, kind of like my own accountability, that like, regardless if it reached 1 person or 50 people, I posted it and I'm going to keep posting it. But I personally, like, if something doesn't get a lot of engagement, I'll either tag a few people or I'll just move on to the next post. And that's just kind of how I take it, because if I looked at everything I posted and beat myself up over team engagement, I would be really upset half the time. And some of the times I'll even see people, like I might repost something that Chastity posted, and I'll see somebody on my team comment on it, what she posted, but they won't even like it or comment on it when I post it. So I have learned to like overlook that. And I also know that I have people too that they'll message me and ask me something about something I posted and they didn't comment on it or they didn't like it. So just remember that you are reaching people regardless if they do comment or like on it. I feel like I've said that a lot of times, but somebody is seeing it. Somebody is getting something out of it, and they may not say anything at all, but they are. So just kind of stay positive and remind yourself that just because something doesn't get a lot of engagement on it doesn't mean people aren't seeing it, and just keep posting. Just stay consistent with it.
I gotta unmute myself. Thank you. And something I want to add to that real quick is, guys, if I worried, I don't know why that happened. Okay. If I like found value in how many likes or comments that I got, I would have quit years ago. I would have never gotten to director, to SSD. I would have never done anything successful with my life if that's really where I was finding my value. I don't know about you guys, but I save all kinds of Facebook posts that I see that I know that are good inspiration that I may want to use later, but I didn't comment on it. So like, I don't know about you, if you guys have ever had a customer reach out and be like, I was watching you. I've been watching you, but they've never commented or liked on anything. Hello, stalker status. We've all been there. Like, it's so frustrating to feel like you're posting and posting and posting and nobody is saying anything or doing anything, but do it for the one. And if the team page is stressing you out, then ask, empower some of your leaders to post a couple things. And when they get frustrated because nobody comments, ask them how many posts they've been commenting on from their director. Sometimes it's a little reality check. But at the end of the day, like, don't worry about it. And that's another thing, especially if you, like what Blair said about, so like if I post something and then she reposts it, but then there's a few people that we have like on the same pages, are you guys really going to go comment on it again if you already commented on it where you saw it originally? And ask yourself that as well. Like, have they already seen it? So, and I don't really remember what the statistic was, but I mean, just remember that if you're getting frustrated by it, make sure that you're providing value as well. Value in, value out. And just remind your team that the more they give, the better the page is. The less they give, the less engagement it's going to be. Because I can't lie and say it's not frustrating. It really is. But honestly, I don't even look at it anymore. I don't care at all. Because you know what? Chastity showed up. Chastity showed up and like said what she needed to say for the day. Who cares if nobody commented on it? Because you know what? I know that I showed that I was working. I know that I did my deed, and I know that even if it's a year from now, how many of y'all have people comment on posts that were a year old because they searched in the page and they found it? Even if it's a year from now, you're doing your job and you're doing it for the one. Anybody else want to add anything to that? Anybody? The only thing I do want to add to that though is, guys, and this is for everybody, me included, we have got to welcome all the new people. We have got to welcome them. We've got to give them tips. We have got to congratulate them when they earn Shooting Star, because those people, that can make or break them. They're brand new and they don't know your culture yet. So, and I'm not saying that it's not even like, it's not crazy, even if you're a director, for you to text a couple of your leaders, hey, I just introduced a new girl. Can you go welcome them? It's not crazy, because you're not going to have to do it forever. People will just start doing it as the momentum builds. And if you stop posting on your team page and you stop doing that, it's going to be even harder to build the momentum back up. Momentum is everything in this business. Does anybody have any other questions that you guys want to ask, or directors, you guys want to talk about anything? I'm going to look through and see. Okay. So there's a couple questions that I'm going to go over real quick, because I truly believe, sorry, like I had all these tabs open. I truly believe in like cutting calls off at like right at an hour. Anything over an hour, nobody's going to go back and watch anyway. All right. So somebody asked, can you send too many samples? You are sending too many samples if you're not following up with them. If you're sending out samples and you're not following up with them, you're throwing your money out the window. You might as well light a $5 bill on fire. Like, it doesn't matter if you're not following up with them. It doesn't. If you're giving out samples in public and you're not getting some type of way to contact them, you might as well light the $5 bill on fire again. Are you laughing at me, Blair? I mean, what? What else?
Sorry, you might as well light a $5 bill on fire. I just like
it just comes out. It's what I say.
You're right.
It's true.
Funny. It's true. Yeah.
You are throwing your money away if you are not following up with them. So stop sending samples to people that aren't buying from you, period. I have people ask me for samples all the time, but I know you buy from 3 people in my downline. So it's not crazy for you to say, hey, but do you have a consultant? Hey, but do you? Because I also saw you saying you wanted 16 samples from homegirl down the street. Like, ignore it if they keep asking you for stuff and they're not buying anything. Like, you don't have to. Literally, I mean, I guess that's just going to be my new thing. You go light a $5 bill on fire if you're just not following up. It's pointless. If your follow-ups are being ignored, I would say they may get, like, if I can say that I'm not always in love with the scent of the month. Real talk. It does, you're every scent of the month, and that's where I usually do most of my mail outs. My people are getting scent of the month samples and stuff like that, right? I mean, and obviously other stuff too, but I'm going to say you're going to get 3 months, and 3 months is pretty generous. And if you haven't bought in 3 months, I'm not going to continue to send stuff to you, because hopefully within 3 months, I found new customers and I found other people that are buying from me consistently. And I'm not just going to send samples over and over, because that costs you money. And time is money. Your samples are money. They're not free. So yes, you can send too many samples when it comes to that. The other thing I'll say, the only other thing I'm going to say about samples is you want to sample with a purpose. If your people are, if everybody in your like customer base is buying wax, but nobody is buying Scentsy Fresh, or nobody is buying washer whiffs, take a little bit of time, set aside some of your Scentsy check and invest some Scentsy money, not family money, in buying some bags and getting whiffs for free to do that. Okay. Whiffs and things like that are going to cost a little bit more to mail. I highly suggest that you go and watch Jennifer Anderson's customer mail out video. It's on her YouTube channel. It was really good, especially for people that were brand new and trying to do things on a budget. Another question I saw was, should I try and do all social media or just one? So I'm not really sure exactly what you mean by that. But for me, I'm going to say work smarter, not harder. So my Facebook and my Instagram are linked. And I always just do all of my stories through Instagram. It automatically goes to my Facebook. The social media thing, there are 5 million trainings out there about social media. For me, what I'm going to say is I'm about Instagram, because Instagram doesn't limit you. Facebook limits you. So, I mean, I know that there's probably people on this team that have sent me a friend request and I've not accepted. Well, your girl's at like 4,000 friends and I can only have 5,000. So I have to save that for my customers. My Facebook is public, so you can follow me always, forever and ever, amen. But, and Tasha makes a good point. She said, for me, I have different audiences on my Instagram than on my Facebook. Me too. So that's why I just link my stuff. And that's what I would say about that. And then I would definitely go and watch some social media training. Someone asked, how do you show up when you feel like you're slacking and you don't have time? I built my entire business working full time, never having more than an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at a time to work my business. Just do the things that matter. Do the things that bring you joy. Show up. Everybody is busy. Everybody. Even people think that I'm just like sitting at home, eating icing on the couch, not folding laundry. That's what my husband thinks I'm doing. But I have a lot of things to do. You've just got to show up even when you're busy, because the time is going to pass no matter what. So if all these years that I've been teaching, if I just said, well, I was too busy to work my business, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have the opportunity to stay at home with my baby. So you have to decide if your why is stronger than your excuses, because you can't make excuses and make money at the same time. You just can't. And it's okay to rest. You can rest. I rest on the weekends all the time. I just don't pick up my phone. I don't answer people. They know that. But you cannot, like, you have to just show up, and nobody can do it for you. But if you're in a slump, take it back to basics. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Say that you're going to do customer stuff on Mondays, sponsoring conversations on Tuesdays, Booking conversations on Wednesdays. Give yourself a schedule, and come hell or high water, you're going to do those 2 things that are income producing for your business. And if that means that you can't bulk sample for a week because you had too many other things going on, then that is what it is. I'm sure Chad's laughing at me. But like, it just has to, your excuses have to be stronger. Somebody, if anybody else has anything else that you want somebody to talk about, please post it. This is an open place for that tonight. Anna said she was listening to a training while cooking dinner. When it was in the oven, she went live about her Scentsy Club and folded towels, and now she's here. Amen, sister. Because I mean, I listen to trainings when I run. I listen to and that's something else I want you guys to realize. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a director, if you're an SSD, if you've been doing this for a year or 10 years. The people that are successful in this business, they train themselves every day. They feed themselves and their brain every day. It may not be a Scentsy training, but is a podcast training. It is something that is going to bring positivity to your life to make you or to help you grow. Because you're not growing if you're comfortable. And if you're saying that you've just been chilling wherever you're at for however long you've been chilling, like, remember that. And sometimes you need people to check you.
There's a good one, Chastity,
Go
about
ahead.
pre-orders.
You want to answer it?
Sure. I don't feel like it's bad to do pre-orders, especially if you're at work. Just let them know what time exactly that to expect it. Let them know, set them up for success as far as the queue. Let them know, don't refresh, all the things you need to, and let them know that you don't, there is a chance it will sell out. Yeah. And with the email, the link prior, like Anna said, but I mean, I really don't like doing pre-orders because it stresses me out. So unless it's something that I know for sure, I really don't do pre-orders.
Yeah. And I think that exactly what Elizabeth said is perfect, because I worked up until March of this year, guys. I never took pre-orders when they were going to be released in the middle of the day. I'm like, you better get it. And Jen Gray and Jen was on this call earlier. I think she's probably still on here. She knows that, like, we'd be rushing back from lunch in the hallway with our phones with a class full of kids when we're not supposed to have our phones out, trying to see if the Star Wars stuff was released so we can get it for our customers. It's super stressful. If that stresses you out and you're at work and you can't do it, then don't do it. It's okay. Just because you see other people doing it doesn't mean you have to. And then it puts it on the customer. Now, I am going to say that you should definitely try your best to have great customer service, which is like what you guys are saying. You're posting your link beforehand. You're emailing your customers. You're showing when it's going live. Like, they shouldn't have to search for the information if it's something that they really want. But it's like, and see, Jen said the same thing. She can't do pre-orders right now. I couldn't do them before either. Do what works for you. And that's something I feel like so many people in this business they just get so caught up in. Don't be anybody else but be you, and do what works for you. If it stresses you out, stop freaking doing it. Stop. Because it's not, at the end of the day, if you hate doing it, you're not going to do it well. And then you're not going to want to do it. Then you're going to dread doing it. Then you're going to do nothing because you're angry because you're, like, procrastinating, if you're like me. But yeah, so, like, just educate your customers, guys. That's the best thing that you can do. That's the best thing that you can do. Anybody else? And yes, Jen, it actually does really work well for those things. The queue. She was saying that the queue works well. So when we were in school, we didn't have the queue. And Jen, I'll never forget, Jen Gray and I guess it was a teacher work day, and there was like a Let It Snow bundle that was released that was like super cheap, $17. It was a teacher work day, and we were both at Mikasita trying to put in all these pre-orders that we had, and nobody got any. Like, nobody. Like, they sold out in like seconds. Like, this was probably 4.5 years. Oh, it was a school day? I don't remember. But I just remember that there was no queue. It was like free for all. It was a hot mess. So since he's improved a lot with that, I do think that the queue works really, really well. I'm very happy with it. But just educate your customers, because we know we're not supposed to refresh, but customers don't. And if you tell them once, you need to tell them again. Like if you were to send out a reminder text, tell them again in that reminder text, hey, it's going to go live in about an hour. Remember, when you're in the queue, don't refresh. Like, just have good customer service. Okay. Anybody else? There was one other question that I saw. Someone said, I need more help getting people to join. I sent an email to my team this week or this morning that had a video from Katie Farner about sponsoring. Guys, sponsoring is a learned skill. You're not going to sponsor just by posting on social media. You're not going to sponsor by posting that you have a host exclusive kit. You're not going to do it. Sponsoring is something that it's like you're farming. You've got to plant all the seeds and continue to water them and continue to water them and continue to water them. And sometimes those plants die and they never join. Sometimes it takes them 5 years and they've been watching you this whole time and they join. I'm not going to do a whole thing about sponsoring right now, but the biggest thing I can say about sponsoring is it is a learned skill. You're not going to wake up one day and just sponsor 15 people. You have to be very intentional. You have to be building relationships constantly, and you have to be just educating yourself. Because if let's say, for instance, you're in a sponsoring slump. I know I've went through them. I know all of us directors that are on here have been through them. Something that you've done in the past, it doesn't work forever, because people's circumstances change. COVID changed everything. Like, raise your hand if COVID changed the way that you're sponsoring me. Like, and it changed people's situations. It changed pretty much everything for most everybody. So what worked a year ago may not work now. And that doesn't mean that you have to recreate the wheel, but you may have to shift your perspective and think about how you're asking people. Have you just even said, like, hey, would you like to do Scentsy with me? It can literally be that simple. Hey, have you ever thought about doing Scentsy with me? Like, make it a fun thing. Like, you just have to educate yourself. And please don't say that you're not good at sponsoring. That I totally 110% believe in manifesting. So you can say that you are weak in the area of sponsoring, but you're going to commit to learning and growing. Because just like I said a little bit ago, when I saw some of my directors shaking their head, sponsoring is learned. I don't believe that many people were born just to pull people into a business, or they were just like born with a skill that I didn't know existed. None of us are sponsoring on accident. Very few times. Yes, you get those random people that join on your website or whatever, but if you found success in this business, it's not on accident. Some books I could recommend that you listen to are Go for the No, Rock Your Network Marketing Business by Sarah Robbins. Any of the books by Mary Christensen. She's like really big into direct sales. Search Scentsy sponsoring, guys. When a lot of us joined, there were not very many videos out there. The only videos out there that I could find on sponsoring were Katie Farner's. I've literally watched them 18,000 times. And every time I go back and watch her, I listen and I learn something different. And that's the thing. And just remember, it's consistency. Nothing matters unless you do it consistently, period. Nothing. Doesn't matter unless you're doing it consistently. Okay. I'm gonna type it in the chat. that and other directors, will you guys type in anybody that you follow on YouTube or train or podcast, anything that you found helpful, anything at all, even if you're not directors, if you found something helpful, please post it. And it doesn't always have to be about network marketing. Trent Shelton, not a dang thing about network marketing, but your girl listens every Wednesday with a purpose when Trent Shelton drops his new one. Yes, let me go find Kayla's question. Yes, I was going to talk about that in just a second. So she says, what do you say to someone if they want to join, but they're afraid of losing their disability check? I'm going to be honest. I've had a couple people ask me that, and I'm not educated enough to know how someone would know. If like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how, I don't know. I just know that if you earn $600 or more with Scentsy, you're going to get a 1099 at the end of the year. So I don't know if there's a way that that's tracked. I can't sit here and tell you to like cheat the system. I mean, I wish that there was a way for me to say that. I do know that if you give this business consistent time and you're really a business builder, that you can make way more than your disability check would ever bring you. But I know that that's someone's livelihood and they can't just walk away from that. So, I mean, exactly, Tasha. What if you replace that disability check? Same thing. People used to tell me, well, or Chloe has been telling me all year, like, you're going to walk away from teaching. I'm like, nah. But it more than replaced it. Obviously, it takes a while to get there. It's not something that happens overnight, but it can absolutely happen. So I wish that I had a better answer for that. The last thing I'm going to talk about, actually, I have two last things, and I promise I'm done because it's 9:15. Someone said that they wanted more team challenges. If that person's on here, or even if you just know, what are some team challenges that you might like to see? I would love for anybody to share something that they think or what exactly maybe you meant by that. Or if you want to email me, I'll type in my email. Because I know that all of us are always willing to like do things that we want, that you guys want. So if you're saying a team challenge, like a sell 500 PRV by Friday, or like what exactly you mean by that, I would love to hear some feedback on that. One of the things that were a feedback point was I would love to see more leaders go live in the group, learn about how they do things, tips and tricks from them. Amen, sister. I'm begging for it all day, every day. So I want to see all the leaders going live and doing the things. And that is what, I mean, I want our leaders group to be the group that everybody wants to be in. So you mean like a competition, like beat someone's team? That could be fun. Yeah, like some directors competing against each other. Or maybe like I've did it. Jen, I'm not judging you. I promise it's fine. I know you're laughing right now. Or like I've done the shooting star restart before, where everybody starts over at 0 and you earned like a shooting star pin from me if you did 500 by the 15th. So I'm not sure what that means, but I would love to hear from that. There's a couple questions about growing your customer base. I'm just going to tell you that there are a lot of trainings on YouTube that you need to go and watch, because I mean, it is what it is. Absolutely, Alyssa. I know that your director, whoever your director is, I know that any of these people that are on here will appreciate anybody giving to the team and sharing your idea, because I think that sometimes people feel like they don't have value to bring because they're brand new or theirs doesn't look perfect. If you look back at the memories of the things that I did on my Facebook 5 years ago, it's real embarrassing to me. Not because it was bad, but because I know that I've grown. But you're never going to know that you've grown if you weren't posting anything. You're never going to get where you want to be if you're too scared to share. I can go back and look at team page posts I did forever ago, and I'm like, wow, I shouldn't have said it that way. But the only way to learn is to fail. Period. If you're not failing, you're not trying. Because if you're just winning at everything, I mean, I'm a winner and lots of you guys are winners too, but like you've got to fail. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about, I promise, is someone asked, as a director, how long did it take you to get to 10K a month and how much did you actually invest your first year? So something that I want you guys to know very, very upfront when it comes to paychecks. If you want to build wealth, you need to build frontline, you need to build frontline leaders, and you need to build directors. And if you are a brand new consultant, if you are a lead consultant, I don't care who you are, you can never stop doing that. Because if you stop doing that, your business is going to die, your paycheck will die, everything will die. So it seems like, oh, well, that's like super tiring. You have to be doing all the things every single month. Well, that's why you have to like learn what's going to work for you and pace yourself and not burn yourself out and stay at a consistent flat rate. But I can't sit here and say, okay, well, this is exactly how you get to 10K a month. Because if you go and ask numerous other people what their first 10K month look like, because of the type of business that we're in and the compensation plan that we're in, that can be very, very different. But the one thing that I am going to say is if you want to build a paycheck, if you want to build life-changing income, you need to build frontline, to build leaders, to build directors, and teach everybody else to do the same thing. And that's just it. That is how you get there. But it takes time and it takes consistency. And I'm going to be honest, you can get to $1,000 a month. I'm not going to say easy because it takes work, but you can get there. The difference is if you're going to stay consistent long enough to build it to triple that, to build it to quadruple that, to build it to where you can see $10,000 a month paychecks. Nobody gets to put a time limit on that because there are people that joined less than 2 years ago that are making $10,000 paychecks. But they saw the vision in this business from the moment they joined, and they found a bunch of people to run with them that way. So just remember that. Don't lose sight of that's what's going to build your business. Because I know at the beginning when you're a star consultant, when you're a lead consultant, you see, okay, I made $20. And you're like, oh, well, that's nothing. I should just go sell more PRV. You've got to keep doing it. Because if you look at the breakdowns of any of the compensation things that I've shared, you are going to see that that life-changing income is going to come from TWV, from your frontline, and from building directors, because you can never sell enough PRV to make $10,000 a month paychecks. I don't even know what that would be, but a lot of PRV. And that's not sustainable every month. You would kill yourself. And like, it's just not what you want to do. You want to bless everybody else and bring them with you and let them have that life-changing income, because the more people that you help do that, the bigger your business is going to grow and come tenfold in everything else. Amen, Summer, about hitting her first 2,000 PRV month last month. I always strive for 2,000 PRV. That would be my suggestion to anybody really trying to build your business. That's exactly what I told Anna when I coached with her. I said, you need to get to 2,000 PRV a month. You need to get to 2,000 PRV a month, period. And that has brought her team members, and that has brought her everything else. Because if you can't get to 2,000 PRV a month consistently, that is where that's where your leg of success is weak. Because if you're struggling for your 500, then that's what's going to happen. And that's why we talk about Scentsy Club being super important, because Scentsy Club is PRV that you worked for one time and it's continuous. That's why we talk about partying. That's why these limited time offers, they're amazing, but you can't count on them. You don't need to build your business on those. You need to build your business on our products that are in the catalog. Amen, Tasha. And I can promise you, the more that if you consistently stay at 2,000 PRV a month, team members are going to come from it. If you're offering the opportunity, you got to talk to them. You got to ask them. They got to know it's an option. But if you are struggling with any other part of your business, with getting your team motivated, with sponsoring, look at your PRV. Because everything in this business, pretty much everybody that joined, nobody really joined that and said, oh, I just want to have 5 million team members. Usually you join for sales. So take it back to that and realize that if you can't do that, that is where you really, really, really need to focus. Okay. Yeah. So Michelle was actually one of my customers and like, just is freaking killing it. Like slaying the game. Yep. And then someone asked how much I invested. Do not spend family money on Scentsy. You go hear me say that all the time. Anytime somebody asks me how much money I spent, because yes, you see me making 1 million samples at one time. I've been doing this a long time. I didn't do that 5 years ago. I was literally only making scent of the month. And I literally only made 50 because I sold the rest of the bars that came in that scent of the month kit. And I only used the flyers that came with it because your girl was broke. And I didn't have any more money to invest into it. So stop investing money that you don't have. Most people join this business to make money. So don't spend money until you're making money. You buy the bare minimum. Okay? Don't spend money until you start making money. That is why you don't need to go and make a bunch of other random samples in every other scent and give them out and burn your $5 bills by giving samples out and not following up. So that's number one. And also, so something that I always heard Chloe and Justin say was to invest 10% back. And when you first join, if you only make $100 that first month, that's $10. That's your website. Now, most people joined Scentsy because they like the products. So my next suggestion is to invest into your business and do scent of the month. Because scent of the month, you can use one bar and sell the rest. So that's something that you can do. And I just want you guys to remember that you do not have to spend money to make money. Everything that you need is in your kit. If you can't make samples because you can't buy some bags from Walmart, fine. Get those testers in people's noses. Make some money. But like, you've got to do something besides post on social media. Scentsy is a fragrance company. That's one of our 5 senses. That means people need to smell it. People need to touch it. People need to feel it. Just do what you can and save your receipts. Know that everything is a tax write-off. And yeah. Does anybody have anything else to add? Because it's 9:25 and I meant to be off 25 minutes ago. Anybody have any other questions? Yes, good point. So Bailey said, if you sponsor someone and they hit shooting star, you get a $25 product credit. Guys, hello. Use that $25 product credit and buy full price product. Then you're getting paid on it twice. You didn't pay for it and you're getting PRV for it. Hello. Earn sensational start. If you had just joined, use that credit to buy things to make samples with. Make samples out of the things in your kit. Like, don't go and spend money. Use Ziplocs that you already have in your house. Go to the dollar store. They don't care. It's a sample. And that's all that it is. And Tiffany, a lot of people do that. I used to spend way too much on Scentsy as well. Anna Alvera does a really good training on this about being a Scentsy basic. Her and her husband set a budget because like their Scentsy money is like budgeted in. She sets herself a budget of how much she can spend on like half off items and stuff for samples and stuff like that. And she keeps up with it. So if your budget is $50 a month for you to spend on half off items and stuff to sample, etc. Like don't let yourself go over. Just remember that even though we love the product, if you want this to be a business, we have to treat it like a business. So you have to budget in that way. And that's why Bailey has been super intentional about packaging something super cheap and doing something that's super simple to mail, etc. Because guys, you don't have to send things that cost $3. That's stupid. And that's wasting your money if somebody's not going to buy from you. And once again, if you're mailing samples and you're not following up, you're burning your money. And don't send it, especially if they're not a customer already, if it costs more than one stamp. We ain't doing that. They can come pick it up from your house. Like, especially when you first join, guys. Like, I was frugal to the max. Yes. So, about report for seeing everyone who ordered. So you can go to the reporting tab, filter it for those dates. You can go to your contacts tab and like send it by last order. You can go to your sales report. Like the best thing I can do is like tell y'all to just play with your workstation. You won't break it. I mean, sometimes it gets broken. However, it's not your fault. It's because they're updating a lot of things on their end. I'm going to